Hello and welcome to the Dentist Show Africa. I'm joined by Mr. Farouk Al Wahab, who is an international diplomatic and investment consultant. Amongst that, he's the former Hearts of Oak member, and he's here on the show. And I want to find out more about his journey and what he's been able to accomplish. Mr. Farouk.
Yes.
How are you?
Oh, well, we are in.
You're
Not
in.
bad.
Not
Okay.
bad. Good.
Yeah.
I want to know about how your journey started and how you started out with former Hearts of Oak instead of Asante Kotoko.
Let me just first say that, well, if I should start with the House of Oak, once a phobian, always a phobian. And I've been a fan of House of Oak since my infancy. Okay. And the thriving force was the fact that I didn't know my father was a Kotoko man. And then I was growing up, a boy of 12 years. I do remember when Kotoko were beaten in Kumasi 4-3. And at that time, I was a ball boy in Kumasi.
Okay.
On that match. Well, I thought of maybe doing my little thing, but in my heart, I liked House of Oak for whichever reason I can't explain. So on my return to the house, that was on Sunday, that fateful day when Kotoko was beaten. The next morning, I was going to school. So in the evening, that the Sunday when we went to the house after the match, I was screaming, we has, and then phobia, okay. The man was very quiet, my father very quiet, man used to be. So he didn't talk. The next morning, going for school fees, no school fees, I think money to go to school. He said, go to phobia and collect it.
Hey.
So that was the turning point why. And then I was wondering, he never made me declare his intention, where he belongs to in terms of football. He was always very silent. Yeah. So on that note, I said, oh, okay, if I could do this, you know, kids don't like stop. So if he was stopping me from liking House of Oak, then I'll do it the more. That was where the genesis started from. And then I graduated through the support base of House of Oak. But my principle is that I don't normally join associations, organizations, and things like that. So the House of Oak chapters, I was never a member of any of the House of Oak chapters. But then for whichever reason, I do remember that Nida Lamte Van der Poy, the former Minister of Finance, he's a good friend, Kukunye, all of them, very good friend of mine. So we used to run a sports program at Radio Gold and other sports stations. And all the time, Metro and all that, they would invite me. And then one day, I was there when Tommy Okine, the basic manager today, he had called me that I have a recommendation to join the House of Oak management. That was 2005-2006, and that they made me the international director of Accra House of Oak. So to that aspect, to that point, I was very much actively involved the whole of 2005-2006. And I do remember I introduced a diabolic a business idea when House of Oak at that time in 2006, the Accra Sports Stadium was under renovation ahead of the AFCON 2008. So we were playing our matches in Obuasi. Okay, so we were traveling to Obuasi. It's not a House of Oak home base. So we didn't have enough of supporters, therefore we're not getting enough money. And then I said, look, at the commentators, the radio station, they come and then run commentary. They get sponsorship and they go free. The product is ours. Share with us. So I did a very funny introduction that, okay, if any radio station wants to run commentary on the match, okay, pay. Other than that,
you don't get access.
You don't get access to that. And it became a very big deal over here. Yes, some of them, their phones were seized. Eventually, I gave it back to them, actually. But that one, we did it not only because of the business aspect, but the team, St. George's from Ethiopia, when House of Oak had gone there in the Champions League campaign, I would say they duped us to some extent. Our players, only one player who didn't drink water on that day could run. So it was one player against 11 players. They beat us 4-0. So we were bent off turning the table. So when they came to Obuasi, we're also very well prepared.
You're ready for them.
To make sure that things were done. I mean, we're prepared psychologically, humanly, and also spiritually. So first 20 minutes, I think, first half, we had also gone ahead. Almost, we got 3 penalties. Genuinely, anyway, if maybe to raise the doubts of a Kotoko supporter, we genuinely won the point. And then they didn't allow even the third penalty to be kicked. Therefore, they walked off the pitch.
Wow.
Yes, and they were surcharged and they were banned for 3 years. And House of Folk sailed on. Unfortunately, we couldn't advance to that extent because we're having so much turbulences financially, moving from Accra all the time to other matches in Obuasi. Cost aspect of it, and also a lot of things were just against it, so we couldn't go further.
So tell me about your school journey. So you obviously you're born in Ghana.
It will be very difficult for me to, because normally, as I told you, that one is on request because I hardly give out my full background for some reasons, because I have a lot of organizations that I do operate and work for internationally, then by virtue of certain details.
But you've schooled outside?
Well, I have I've had,
you've done some education abroad.
Very good ones outside, and also
in Ghana.
Locally, I'm a Zongo boy, so you should imagine I went to one of those grade F schools, but then it wasn't bad. We managed through that until we went out on Afro-Asia Institute in Austria, which is...
So what did you study?
I did international economics, and then also later delved into international diplomacy. And then also, let me say, I did languages, also packaging.
You speak how many languages?
On a very good day, maybe I could do, in addition to English, maybe I can do 3 more. French, if I'm on a good day, Arab, on a good day, I can also do German, is my specialty. I like it so much. And then the English. Apart from that, I do speak some other African countries, languages from other African countries.
And did you intentionally learn that, or were you just in that situation in the area, you lived there?
With the African languages, let me say that I've worked for a lot of international organizations that we have done, let me call it a research journey from Paris down to almost about 56 countries on the continent. We traveled almost all by land. You understand? So we've really covered a lot, and then it was a particular project which may be for a certain organization that worked, and I was part of the research team as a research fellow. So we did that kind of a project on the ground, from Paris down to the north of Africa, to the west and the north, and then south central, up to the south. We covered a lot of other operations, you understand? So let me put it that way, that we've done a lot of things. I'm involved also, let me put it this way, in security analysis, and I understand the continent when it comes to security issues of the African continent in general. Very well knowledge. Is Ghana it's a safe country. It's a safe country. Unfortunately, sometimes when you listen to the political rhetorics from our politicians and then some of the so-called security experts we have in this country, in Ghana, when they start talking about the seriousness of Ghana, security, etc., sometimes I sit back and laugh, because we are not talking about theory, we're talking about practicality. So in terms of practicality, we can say Ghana is a Switzerland of Africa. The difficult thing is that Africans, we don't know, let me call it, even our geographical settings to the extent of even our security issues and the implications, etc. So to bring in to say that if Ghana is a safe country, I will call it Ghana is a safe haven. Our difficulty, we don't have any rebel terrorists, any of the jihadists, etc.
So do we need military in this country then?
Yeah, military, of course. Every country has to have a defense. If you're talking about within European settings, one would say that the Royal Army is one of the best. The French would also challenge that we have the best army. But the sophisticated army in Europe is Switzerland. And yet no bullet comes out from their gun. So defense, you need to have it. But then I'm saying the active participation, our defense, no. So Ghana military, I'm sorry, we could use them for farming activities, to produce food, to sell to the nation and sell themselves. Because the country hasn't got, we are not at war with any country.
So we're just paying them?
We're paying them, you understand? We're paying them. So what we're supposed to do, we can do it like replicate that of Croatia and those that Eastern, the Balkan states. What they do, their military, they are into active IT. Producing of IT platforms. You understand? Chips and all that is done by Croatian army, almost Romania, for instance, typical. This is where they get their earnings. The Ghana army, a country that you don't have your neighbor that you have to take a gun. unless they have to tell me today that Ghana Army has a problem with Burkina Faso, that is even having dissidents operating on our land. Nevertheless.
But the armies will feel like you're degrading them.
Oh, not degrading them. I'm just giving them, it's a business idea.
Okay.
That if Ghana Army, they buy yam, they buy cassava, ask them, when they are going to Liberia here, they supply them yam. People are supplying them maize. What do they do for? Tell me what state alert that Ghana Army is waiting for to go and attack. Except that we go external services, Liberia, XYZ, what's it, Sudan, and all those places. Either than that, what do they do? Because I'm saying that you don't have one single political prisoner. No Ghanaian president is in exile. We don't have fugitives. We don't have dissidents. Upon all the money, I won't use the word embezzled, the money that our politicians have chopped. There's no one single politician who is sitting outside calling to come inside that you can call him a dissident or a fugitive. We don't have one. So if a country has a kind of a rich democratic credentials, at what point can any officer tell me that Ghana, oh, it's a region? Cybercrime is not a national security issue. Cybercrime is never a national security issue. Europeans that created the cybercrime, we didn't have computers. Did we have any computer? No, they are dealing with those issues with intelligence. Ghana's problem is lack of intelligence. It's not lack of this, because we are not combatants. If we are to go into the factors that will not make Ghana fight, or that Ghana, no country can attack Ghana. So it is not correct that Ghanaians, we can't have a civil uprising. Those times in the medieval period had gone past. We can't have any tribalism. Ashantis went to war. They fought this, they fought. That thing can never happen again. So tribal settings, intertribal, we cannot, because we have enhanced our system through the tradition. The tradition has given tribal marriage, cross-tribal marriage. The whole world, the whole Africa. Ghana has the highest cross-tribal marriage. Such a country, how can they fight?
Well, at least you know that Ghana is a safe place to be. I'm going to go for a commercial break. I'll be back to ask more questions about entrepreneurship. Is that a good thing for any country? We'll be back. Welcome back from that short commercial break. I'm still joined by Mr. Farouk Al Wahab. Farouk.
Yes, yeah.
Entrepreneurship, an African perspective. How would you define entrepreneurship?
As it stands, world all over, no government can succeed without entrepreneurship or without entrepreneurs. Every country in this world that has succeeded, including that of the United States, it is not from the public sector, but it is through the entrepreneur committee. You understand?
Yeah.
That is the level.
Yeah.
Because one, the government only have, where does the government take their money from? If you are talking in terms of taxes, they scrap from individuals.
Yeah.
But then if you look at it critically, except the advanced nations or the Western nations, they have done well to increase or have larger of their population in the public sector. Entrepreneurship, entrepreneurs in Africa, in Ghana typically, I made an example in somewhere that you have only 3 million, not more, up to 3 million. It's trying to be challenged, but that is very much so. Of the total population of 38 million working in the public sector. So who is feeding the economy? That is what is called entrepreneurship. The entrepreneur does what? They do 3, 4, 5 things. One, they have to create. They are organizing. Look for the capital, and then they take risk. Tell me any of them that the government does. So, Ghana government sits back and then rely on your entrepreneurs. Call them traders. Whichever way that we have defined sometimes. When a woman is selling a cassava, they call it a trader. Call them traders. The person is still operating under the umbrella of entrepreneurship. What do they do? The said entrepreneur is what? Creating a business that is called registered business or formal informal. They register, they give money to the government for registering companies. Is that not it?
Yes.
Having registered their businesses. Now if we take out 3 million from the population and then we take out the percentage of the farming community, which forms about 45 to 48%. It used to be about 60%, but now the urbanization about 48%. The rest They are earning salary, they are earning income, wages and remunerations. They get it from where? From entrepreneurs. Do you understand? So it tells you that we are saying that the engine of growth is from the private sector. The private sector is the umbrella or the key of entrepreneurship. They are the people creating jobs for people to do. In terms of manufacturing, in terms of production, everything is from the entrepreneurship. So, countries like Japan, countries like Germany, countries like United States, Korea, the new markets, you're talking about Brazil, the new markets, you're talking about today Turkey. Before they were able to accelerate the growth of the economy, they looked not only how much the government was scrap and tax from the people, they looked at how the engine of the economy will run. Therefore, let's lubricate and ease up the
so that the entrepreneurs
or the entrepreneurs can take over. Because if you talk about officials, how many officials are at the Ministry of Agri? Not a handful, not up to 1,000. So therefore, the excesses, where and how, this particular nation, Ghana, entrepreneurs or traders, you understand, politicians will call them traders because when they want to disregard you, call them traders or entrepreneurs. They have built the whole country, Ghana. Look at this building where you live in. Look at that one. Look at the whole airport village. Tell me one single one that belongs to any government.
It's true.
Everything you call it the entrepreneur. You understand me? So entrepreneur creates either company or creates an enterprise. Whichever way that you see it, it comes to one platform. Is that the entrepreneurship platform? Therefore, these people by their sweat, are you getting me? Suffer where to raise the money from. It is not the business of any Ghana government or most of the African governments. They don't care where you get your money from. So informally, people strive and force to raise their own capital, have a table at Abosokan, have a container for the wife. The government is on holiday sleeping. Because unlike your system, the United Kingdom system, where we have council flats built by the government or bought by the government from individuals and then run for the citizens to sleep in. That is why you find a British politician will not care to have his own house because there is a house.
Council.
Ghana, the population, where do they stay? They stay on the shoulders of entrepreneurs. So the value, the work, the operations, the contributions of the entrepreneur or the platform or the general background word called entrepreneurship, which is the biggest umbrella. It is where the government of Ghana is surviving on. I've had the chance to have traveled across Africa. But go to Tanzania airport, go to Zambia airport, go to Kenya airport, and see the nationals who have gone to live even in London or in Hamburg for 20 years. Look at, I'm sorry, how they come home. How many of them have built houses? No, they don't build houses.
It's true, but Ghanaians do.
The French, you can is zero. Ivorians, zero. Cote d'Ivoire, nobody pays more than 2 months. So at the end of the day, the system is telling you, as I made mention, that Ghana is operating with 1942 banking law. And the bank is supposed to feed the entrepreneur, and the entrepreneur is supposed to feed the public. So it is a triangular shape of operation that should give leverage with the people in the middle, called the citizen. Is that what we are seeing?
No, the banks don't.
So if I want to go and take money from the bank, then the bank as Ghanaian, I'm sorry, it's not their fault, but the lazy banking system. They will let you fill forms. Is that not the practices? Fill form, do this, bring that, do that. Later they tell you collateral. So the entrepreneur is not protected in our country. Much as we have vibrant entrepreneurs. Go to Kwam and see buildings that people have built. I'm sorry, some of them don't give them pen because they don't want it. Do you understand? This is, you call them traders. These are people who are building your country for you. Let's put Accra in perspective and take out, where are the government buildings? The government buildings are cantonments. Government buildings, few of them are airport, very few of them. Nyaneba Estate, Laboni, when they take it out, it's not up to 200 houses for the government. Where would Ghanaians sleep?
It's true.
Tell me where Ghanaians will sleep. Compared to other countries where bungalows are built for the citizens. So you have everything done by your entrepreneur family. So your problem of Ghana is just a problem of cruelty. So you severe and punish your nationals. Because at the end of the day, the people living in London, living in Germany, living all over Australia, their money is trooping in. In any case, a child standing at Keneshi Market selling pure water has money and transferred to the mother who is in the village. It's supposed to be the duty of the government. Do you do that? No. They sell mobile money. Go to mobile money and see kids who are sending money, 20 Ghana, 10 Ghana for the family, for God's sake. It's supposed to be the work of the government. So you have a vibrant entrepreneurial family and nationals who does and who really understand. And we don't complain. So in Ghana here, if this country is prepared, and we've had presidents and this who are, I will call it, if not that for political expediency's sake, and they are talking about creating wealth, then you should rather encourage your entrepreneurs. Ghana hasn't got one single dime of a problem. Not even a token of a problem. Because your people are not lazy. You go to the village and promise them chamber pot, they accept, they don't talk. You go there and promise them, they accept, they don't talk. Because at the end of the day, the heat doesn't come to you. The heat comes to the brother who is in Germany to send money. So they are sending $100 a month. And it's comfortable for the family. So you don't hear. So there's no demonstration that rock the government. There is the practicality. So if we are talking about entrepreneurship is the people, this is a group of little individuals who have really taken money. But the money should have been taken from the government to work. The loan should have been given to them to work for you. You are not giving them the loan. So wherever they get their money, you don't want to know. But you go back and take taxes.
I wish I could go for part 2, part 3, part 4, but we can't. I just want to say a big thank you for joining us on the show. You've got my mind bubbling. But thank you so much for joining us. I hope you've enjoyed the show. See you next week.